Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you can hear me. Please let me know in the comment that you can hear me. Good evening. It's so exciting to have you join us on this webinar. My name is Gift Best, and very shortly we're going to be bringing up Mr. Tunde to share with us the things that are designed for tonight. And I want to say a special thank you to everyone who is joining us from all over the world. In our previous webinars, we've seen people who are joining from all over the world. We've seen people join from different countries of the world. And it's always exciting for us because we know that every single meeting that we've organized, every single webinar, every single conference or summit that we have, it's always filled with value, and we're so excited to always bring this your way. So, but I want to be sure before we just get right into it, I want to be sure that you can hear me. So please just let me know in the comments that I can hear you. Let me know in the comments that you can hear me and where you are joining this webinar from. We so much love to know, right? Because one of the things that we like to do is we like the stories, we like the experience, we like the lessons, the values that comes every time on this platform to be relational. We want you to be able to relate with it, right? That is why most times we would ask, okay, what do you do? How can we relate the value that we're sharing to what you do so that you are able to practically apply these things into what you do? It could be you're an entrepreneur who is into fashion. It could be you're an entrepreneur who is into foods. Whatever the business is, we always want to make sure that you can relate with what we're doing. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Comrade Ibrahim. We always want to make sure that you can relate with what we're doing, and the value is it drives home the point, right? Now, another thing I want to say is the fact that when we host webinars like this, where Mr. Tunde Ebidero comes up to speak, where he comes up to talk about the things that we're talking about, I want you to know that these things are not from a place of, something that was read in a book, something that someone just, sat down and just wrote down on paper. No. Whenever he comes up to talk about things, every single thing that he comes up to talk about here, it's always from a place of experience. Mr. Tunde is someone who has been in business for over 20 years. And I'm not saying 20 years of, trial and errors. No, I'm talking about 20 years of actual experiences, 20 years of being able to lead successful businesses, 20 years of being a major key stakeholder in his industry. So when it comes up here, I like to set this background so that you know that we didn't bring him. This is not a motivational section where someone is here to just motivate you, get you excited, and then you get home, you're not able to apply the things that you've learned. You're not able to apply the principles that you've learned into the things that you do. I want to let you know that the things that you're hearing are not things that was read. They are things that have been practiced. They are things that are from experience, have been applied. And today we're going to be learning about, just a moment. Just a moment. So today we're going to be learning about building to last, right? What is the essence of this webinar? Now, I want to create the background before Mr. Tunde Ebidero comes up to share with us how to actually do this, right? Of course, I'm in business, but I don't have the kind of experience Mr. Tunde has, and this is why I want to say this. Now, as someone who is into tech personally, I know that every system functions because of the operating system. Every computer functions because of the operating system. And the usability of the system is dependent on the operating system. So whether you have a Macintosh or whether it's a Dell, you have a Dell that is using Microsoft operating system, the features that you're able to access, the duration of that computer, the usability of that computer is dependent on that operating system. And this is why it's important for most people that they get an Apple laptop, because of the feature that they are looking to use, because of the experience they want to have, which gives them an end goal in mind. So in business as well, you must understand that every business that operates, we've seen stories where businesses like BlackBerry, businesses like Nokia, businesses like Blockbuster, businesses like, name them. All those big businesses that were the titans of their industry, but it got to a point they were not so much relevant in their industry. What was the reason behind their fall? But you must also understand that the businesses that are successful, there are principles that allows them to be successful. There are principles that allows them to remain successful. Someone said, a wise man said that it's easier to get to the top than to maintain your position at the top, right? There are principles that get you to the top, right? Talent could get you to the top, skills could get you to the top, but talent cannot necessarily always keep you at the top, because that's where you now need discipline. You now need structures. You now need systems to maintain that ladder that you've climbed, right? So tonight we're going to be looking at how can you build your business to last, right? How can you build, how can you build your business to outlast your competitors? There was something Mr. Tunde Ebidero shared during the summit we had in Abeokuta, where he was talking about the competitiveness of the market, right? How can the people who need your product consistently patronize you, regardless of the fact that we have a thousand other people who are into the same services that you're into, who are doing the same kind of, selling the same kind of products? How do you build a business that remains relevant over time? I'm not talking about a business that leverages on trend and then you trend for a while and then before you know it, the business goes out of fashion. I'm talking about a business that you build and translates into a legacy. When you talk about companies like Coca-Cola, you're talking about a company that is more than a business. You're talking about a company that is now a legacy. When you talk about companies like Ford, when you talk about companies like Lamborghini, we talk about companies like the guys who are the industry experts leading their different industries. There are principles that got them there, and there are principles that kept them there. So that's what we're going to be looking at today, and we're going to be bringing Mr. Tunde Ebidero up now to share with us how do we build these systems. What is the entrepreneurial operating system that allows us to grow and allows us to sustain that growth? Guys, personally, I'm going to be learning tonight. I have my notes here where I'm going to be jotting, I'm going to be writing out, and I'm going to be implementing this, right? So what I want to say is this. You know someone who is looking to building a business beyond WhatsApp. Yeah, there are people that build, have this kind of WhatsApp business, WhatsApp status business. Now, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a business that offers real value to people globally. So if you know someone who is ready to build that kind of business, guys, we want you to share this link with them, right? The things we're going to be learning tonight, like you got in our email, it's not things that you can go on Google and you just Google, find them out there. No, these are principles that have been practiced and works. So you're going to be learning that tonight. I want you to share this link with someone. Just get the YouTube link, share it with them, get them on here for 30 minutes. Let them learn something that will change their life forever. All right, guys, thank you so much. We're going to be bringing Mr. Tunde up now, and we'll take it up from there. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening, sir.
Hey, Gift, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, indeed a gift to the world. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you tonight. We're so excited. I'm so expectant on learning from what you want to teach tonight. And as I was saying before we brought you on this conversation, I was saying that whenever you're here talking, speaking to us, you're not speaking to us from something you read in a book. You're not speaking to us from something you Googled or found on YouTube. You are someone who has built two successful businesses that are thriving, that has evolved over time and has remained relevant. So it is my pleasure to welcome you tonight, and to share with us on the principles to build a business that will last over time. Thank you so much for joining us. Over to
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
Gift. Yeah, thank you very much, Gift. Yeah, like I always love to say, I'm a grassroots business person, which means that I started from the lowest ebb, started from the grass. Let's put it that way. So there are things we have learned along the journey. Again, of course, due to my upbringing, my family background, I came from a very poor home, so which made me a breadwinner at the age of 7. So I've learned a lot of things along the way, and I've also failed in quite a number of ways. And but I've learned to one thing I've also learned is learn my lessons from failing, and to use the lessons I've learned from failing to forge ahead. And so we've been able to come to where we are today by sheer experience that we've had. And of course, by also knowledge that we've been privileged to learn from some other people who have gone ahead of us. So thank you very much. And I want to welcome all our viewers, all friends on this call tonight. It's a great one. I mean, it's going to be a great one. I'm going to be sharing a few things that I know, not the entire things that there is, but the few that we know. You know, the Bible said something. It said, we know in parts and then we prophesy in parts. So if you take the few that I know and add to some of the few that you get from somewhere, you might get even more than I have. And so even the few that I'm talking about, I also got them from bits and pieces from different sources. And so I promise that it's going to be an exciting night. That's one thing for sure. Yeah, you can take that to the bank. That's what I have to say. Tonight, we're going to start with a voice pop, a video. My team went out on the streets today. I'm Gift. I hope you're ready to share that with us. My team went out onto the field to gauge the people, to ask people what do they think about this topic. So let's listen to them and let's learn. Like I said, we'll pick from different places and we'll make it a whole. So if that video is ready, I like us to share that right now so that our audience can be blessed. But before we get there, please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. If you look through, when you're able to subscribe, you look through what we've been offering before now, you realize that everything we've offered has great value, particularly if you are desirous of making your mark in business, just like I am as well. And so please subscribe and then also click the notification button so that whenever we have a new post, you'll be notified so that you won't miss any post. So there's always things that we're putting out there. And if you haven't joined our community yet, please join. Information will be out there for you. We have a WhatsApp community where we do a lot. We also teach. So if you're new, you're coming across us for the first time, you're welcome, and please join us. So is that video ready, Gift? Let's quickly get started with that. Gift, you're muted.
Please carry on for a little just moment. Let me just, the system, we're still getting that up here from this end.
Okay, fine. We will get it on to you as quickly as possible. We're having some glitches with the network from its end, probably. Okay, so tonight we're talking about build to last. And so that's talking about the entrepreneurial operation system. You know, nowadays we've learned that in Apple you have iOS, which is the operation system, iPhone operation system. So everything has an operation system. As human beings, we have a system. Our body is a system. We have all the components of the body functioning. Everyone has their responsibilities, and they come together to make a whole. Your eyes give signal to the brain decide what you should do with the signal the eyes got. The lungs is there to take in the air, and that enables us to live. The blood that carries the blood, the veins carries the blood around the body and distribute it to all the cells, and that keeps us alive. So everything that has to be alive has to have a system. So for the first thing we need to know is that for anything to last, a proper system has to be in place. We'll come back to that system issue. But let's quickly look at what are some of the reasons why businesses don't last. Before I started my manufacturing business over about a couple of years ago, I did a study, because one of the things I remember I was in Asia one day. I was trying to board a plane to come back home, and God just asked me a question, popped up a question in my head and said, why is it that industries in Africa don't live as long as industry in Europe? And instantly I remember, I think Guinness is almost 400 years. Coca-Cola is about 300 years. I mean, Ford is over 100 years. I was at Ford Foundation last year, and I was amazed with what they have there in Detroit. And I look at all these businesses around. I also read a book, okay, and I've spoken so much about this book, okay, and this book showed how it was a documentary of businesses that have lasted. I think the first on that list of that book is called Congo Gumi. Congo Gumi, as we speak, is almost 1,000 years. And these are businesses that are still in existence. Cadbury is hundreds of years, and these businesses are still on. Okay. But I asked, how many businesses in Nigeria or Africa has transcended the second or third generation? We've seen great businesses starting in Africa, but one common denominator that we find is that the moment the founder dies, the businesses die. And I began to look at this because I wasn't ready to go that route. I didn't want my business to go that route. So I decided to do that. Incidentally, for me, when I spoke with my mentor, and he said, oh, that's what I'm doing my PhD in the US on. And so he would begin to discuss this each time I will come together. And everything we have discussed, I've gradually begin to implement that in my own business, because I also want to make sure that my business becomes a legacy that I will leave behind. And for hundreds of years to come, as car stories, these businesses will still be on, benefiting humanity and also creating value in the world. So that has become my own personal vision, and that has led me to some of the discoveries I'll be sharing here tonight. So the first thing I discovered is that for your business, first reasons that I found that were really affecting the high mortality rate or the low mortality rate of businesses is visionlessness. I repeat, visionlessness. And the Bible said something. It said, my people are destroyed for lack of vision. Whatever you build today without a well-defined vision cannot last. And when I have privileges to counsel young couples trying to get into marriage, the first thing I said, you have to also build a vision for your marriage. You must have a vision for your family. Okay, there must be a vision casting for your family. You must sit down and say, okay, why are we into this marriage? What do we want? Okay, and then there you will find a way of unifying your desires and thoughts, not only with yourself, but also with your creator. Because like I taught in our last class, we are all products, and we're here to carry out the will of our maker. And so in talking about vision is not what you sit down and cast. Okay, vision is what you get from your creator. There are so many ways by which you can get that. So vision is what you get. For my company, for example, there's what we call Vision 1333. And that's what drives our company. Because vision defines purpose. Okay, it backs passion. It backs passion and provides direction. When you have a vision, when you are vision driven, you're not just going to do things anyhow. Okay, everything you want, every decision you want to make, you must always check it if it's in alignment with your vision. And so because you've already have the vision that this is where I'm going, well defined, well articulated, it will always guide your decisions. A lot of businesses fail because they dabble into so many things that even when they now later sit down realize that, but actually this is what wasn't the way we should have gone. But it's because they were visionless. So one of the problems is that vision. So most companies that dies are visionless companies. Now, another thing I want to say, it's one of the many reasons that we have is bad or poor or bad business structure or system. Earlier, I spoke about system, and I said system is very important because without a system, things can't run smoothly. Imagine our organs functioning anyhow. Imagine the vein wants to take in the air, or he wants the water to come into it. Imagine the eyes want to be the one that carries the walk. Imagine the ear says, I don't want to hear again. I want to be the mouth that speaks. Imagine your hand saying, no, I don't want to be a hand that carries things. I want to be the one that makes it work. Okay, thank you very much. The video is ready. I will just pause at this point, and I'd like us to enjoy what the people in town are saying about the subject. So go ahead and play it, please, Gift. Volume, please, Gift. Volume, we can hear. We're not hearing it. Gift, please, can you check your sound if it's okay? Okay, while we wait for that to come back. So I was talking about system. So imagine your hand says, no, I don't want to be the one carrying things. I want to be the one that will be walking. There's going to be a clash. You'll find the hand clashing with the leg. You find the nose clashing with the mouth. You find the ear, because the systems collapse. As a matter of fact, most of the time when people die is because their system collapse. So that's it. And so when businesses system collapse too, businesses die. So one major factor you need to have in your business is to have it structured so that you'll be a flow system. I tell people, if your presence is the only thing that drives your business, that means if your business cannot run without your physical presence, then you are not in business.
I'm Oladipo with the Tunde Ebidero initiative. And once again, we are here in the marketplace. You see, Boston City of Abeokuta, as you can see. So we are here to ask people fundamental questions on why businesses do not last in Nigeria. In Nigeria, it is a known fact that very few businesses scale up to the extent of outliving the owners of the business, or even going a centurion or even a golden jubilee. Many businesses don't last past 50, 30 years, especially when the owners are gone. Very few businesses, such as the First Bank of Nigeria, the Union Bank, UAC Foods, we have Pfizer, and many of these companies just came into Nigeria from outside the country, and they've been able to sustain that longevity, which we have not been able to replicate in the country, apart from some sectors, such as the banking sector. So we're going to be asking in the streets, we're going to be asking people in the streets today why businesses do not last. Join me as we ask. Let's go. What I wanted to ask, we have businesses in Nigeria like First Bank, Union Bank. We have you have heard of UAC. All this. What about Unilever? All of them. They don't reach 100 years. Which business? Why business for Nigeria? No, they reach 100 years.
Why business no go reach 100 years if you say you are not the owner of business? Because now you do another person business. The person can cripple you anytime where you want to, because not your own. You are not originated of the business. Anything where not be originated with you, the person will get can cripple you anytime the person decide. That is the reason.
So what if the business is your own?
Like if the business is your own, because you know the level of your business, you know how the thing go get leg, and the thing how the business go function, and how the business no go function.
So now, if person can't die, how the business will continue?
When you die, because if you say now you be the, let me say now, you say I mean they manufacture this bag. You understand it? When I manufacture the bag, even though I never get children, I go get the siblings, I go get the workers, we go equally know how to manufacture the thing. When I left, the people must stand there, and even though my children still small, you understand it? When all those people continue the business, when my children grow up, they need to, because now me be the founder of the business, or even all those my workers, they try to, no matter how hatred they be, they hate me, they must so make any of my child to continue with that business.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Oluwaseun. I would like to know what's your name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwunebeze. and I'm into selling and repairs of mobile phones.
So we want to find out, we're in the marketplace today to find out why businesses do not last. What makes businesses do not last 30, 40, 50 years?
Why businesses does not last 40, 50 years? Well, inadequate fund to carry on with the business. Probably bank loan, government support to the small scale enterprise. So lack of funds will make a business die untimely.
All right. Do you have any other thing that would probably?
Actually, as a businessman, if you look at the likes of Dangote, the likes of Oteda, what do they do for a living? That's what they do. Without loan, a business cannot thrive for long. Without government support, a business cannot thrive for long.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Oluwaseun by name.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Alaraju Secure Alade.
All right. What do you do, sir?
I'm a computer programmer. I do web development. I design mobile apps.
We wanted to ask. You're a businessman, I believe.
Yeah.
So we wanted to ask the people generally that why do businesses not last past some generations? We have the likes of UAC, we have the likes of First Bank that's celebrating 160 years. Why do you think that businesses do not last?
Number one is financial literacy. Number two is financial discipline, and the rest. And I'll explain a bit. Financial literacy, you have to know for your business to outlive you, you have to be very disciplined about your finances, the incomes, the outflows, and the rest. You have to know how to hire, you have to know how to fire if people are not performing. Because you have to have the best hands on ground to ensure that the business continues to flow. That is financial literacy. Then financial discipline. When you are still running a business, you can't dip in money to buy unnecessary things that is not going to affect that business positively. Do you understand? So because when you do that, you dip in money from the business account, use it for other purpose, the business will collapse when you need the funds to expand. Because expansion is really important in business. So that is another point. And again, the discipline of the owners, because the ones you mentioned now, they are PLC, they are people liability company. So the issue lies with the board. Do you understand? And the board represent the shareholders. So the discipline that they make really affect the shareholders. Let's assume they siphon the funds and divert the funds. You've seen banks that liquidate. It's because of the indiscipline of people that are in charge of the banks, or they are using money for something else. And an example of that, Intercontinental Bank, Oceanic Bank of those days, they're using the money to buy things that are not related to the affairs of the bank. They're investing money in private real estate and buying things. So the business will collapse. So you have to be disciplined. So if you want your business to outlive you, like the Watson of the US and the rest, you have to can see their children that they brought. They are disciplined too. They know about the process of the business. That is why when you are growing, if it's a proprietorship business that you own it by yourself, you have to know how you can educate your kids so they can take over from you. And there should be financial discipline, and the first interest should be about the growth of that organization, that business.
Thank you very much. Now you have heard from the people on why businesses do not last in Nigeria. Join us now as we go into the studios and hook up with Tunde Ebidero as he shares with us his insights into Build to Last webinar. Thank you.
Am I back on now? Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Oluwaseun Oladipo, and then to those the team that went out with you. We're glad you did that for us, and I'm sure our viewers have learned one or two things. Okay, so I think if you look at what quite a number of these people said, these are issues that we're going to be looking at here. So, but we just wanted to have a feel of what other people feel about this. And so that's why we're doing this. Okay, so I was speaking earlier about system. So the importance of system is for business to last and tarry for long, structures are to be in place. Good structure, well-developed structure, evolving structure, not rigid, not very rigid structure, fluid structure really. So that as the time goes out, we proceed, because the world is changing. It's not static. Things that work, the systems you run in 5 years ago may not run now. And again, this is one of the reasons why quite a number of businesses fall. It's not that they didn't have structure. No, it's not that they didn't have system that was functioning, but they didn't know how to innovate their structure and system. And that's why I always say that innovation must happen at 4 points in every business. At the process, there has to be process innovation, product innovation, marketing innovation, and then we have to have organizational innovation or management innovation. So that, having said that, let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about: market fit, or rather, on market on fit. Now, every product or business is expected to close the market gap. Okay, the business are battered when market needs are found, and you found a gap in the market and you are there to close it. Now, there are some businesses that when you start them, they were meeting the needs in the market. They were closing that gap. But after the year, after a while rather, this market fit is no longer there. And so, but you still persist in the business. You're not changing. You're just dogmatic. Let me give an example. There was a time selling camera films and all that was a big time businesses in this country. The basic big camera gadgets, all the flash films and all of that, and the film development things was a big time market fit. But at the time, gradually we saw this thing being faded. The smart guys quickly moved into something else. But some will still remain in that system, refusing to change. Which takes us to the next thing, is lack of disruption or innovation. A lot of businesses go into extinction because they fail to innovate. Like they'll say, if you don't disrupt yourself, you'll be disrupted out of the business. I always like to refer to Nokia in this case. There were a few years back, just like 10, 15 years ago, Nokia was, 15, 20 years ago, Nokia was the category king in mobile industry, in the mobile phone industry. There was no other phone. Nokia first before anything else. And not just Nokia, we had the Ericsson, we had Sargents, we had quite a number of these phones. But look at what happened. When phones began to evolve, okay, when color screen came out, then camera screen came out, then messaging SMS came out, then BlackBerry came out, all these devices started coming out. Nokia never did anything. Number one, they couldn't see the future. And that's why when their CEO was speaking, he spoke emotionally. And he said, the then CEO said, we did nothing, but yet we failed. We did nothing wrong, he said, but yet we failed. But I said, personally, I disagree with him. You did something wrong. You refused to disrupt. You refused to innovate. So businesses fail because people don't innovate. They stay on one lane. Let me simplify this. You run a shop, a provision shop. I always like to use the provision shop for this. Okay, and you have the way you have arranged your provisions. So there's a section that is for tea, there's a section for beverage, there's a section that's for sugar, there's a section for detergents, for soap, for creams, for all that. Now, wisdom demand that periodically change these things. A customer coming in every day is already used to where to meet these things. Nothing new in the shop, even though you are changing the product, but he's not seeing anything new because he's used to the map of your store. But when you innovate, when you find, okay, let me take tea from here and take it to where cream used to be, let me take cream from here, bring it to where this will be, and just juxtapose this and change them. When the customer comes in next, the first thing is he goes straight to where he normally picks provision and he meets cream there. There's a chances that he might be tempted to pick cream before going for his provision. You would make additional sales. So, and then your outlook will look very interesting, very inviting, not just looking. Look at, let me quickly put this in. Why do Coca-Cola change their bottles always? It's not because people complain. We've never heard that Coca-Cola bottles are exploding, but they keep changing it. Why would beverage drinks keep changing their containers? It's just to create a new look. They want you to have a new feel. The companies are changing even their logos, their color concept periodically just to create a new thing. So all this innovation, both product innovation, both process innovation, both marketing innovation, and both management innovation has to occur. And if it doesn't over time, that business will die. Then the other thing is poor management. This is the biggest problem in Africa. One of the guys that spoke excellently well on this issue. He talked about He talked about financial knowledge and financial prudency. Okay, all these are subjects of poor management. If you are not knowledgeable, you can't be effective in management. And that's why I said, the fact that you are running a local shop at a corner does not mean you shouldn't develop your managerial skill. Does not mean you shouldn't go for business summits, or does not mean you shouldn't read business books, because that's how you can grow from that small little shop and become a chain of stores. Because why? You are taking in informations and that's transforming you. Then the last one is lack of succession plan. Gladly, about 2 or 3 of them spoke about succession plan. The first guy and the last guy spoke about succession plan. This is one of the biggest problems in African business space. A lot of Africans just get into business and never have succession in mind. Okay, they may dream that one day my children will take over, but it's not just the dream, it's not just the wish. Did you prepare the students to take over? I've seen a lot of companies in Nigeria. I've heard a lot of stories where big people, I don't want to mention, but there's one of the biggest business person in the world in Nigeria at some time, who at his demise, all his businesses collapse, and he has children. And you just ask me, why couldn't the children revive any of this business? I understand one of them is trying to do that now, but the question is, after how many years? Over 30 years. Okay? And the thing is, a lot of our people, once they start making money, they send the children abroad. And the children will go abroad school, and then they hope that they will bring them back. And then these children will fit into this. No, there's cultural differences. Okay, they grew up in a different environment. When a child does not grow up within the system to see how the business evolves, to see how the business starts from the scratch to the top, and you just bringing him when everything is high up there, he wouldn't know how to manage. When the chips are down, he'll know what to do, because he wasn't there when you manage it when things were really rough. So, and that's why succession is the big thing here. It is the problem that many are having in this case. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about here is founders' entrepreneurial mindset, the mindset of the founder. That's why some don't have this succession plan thing that we talk about. That's why some don't even have the structure. And so briefly, we're going to look at 3 mindsets that determines that every founder will always have. The lowest is, number 1 is the sprinter's mindset. The sprinter's mindset. A sprint. These are race terminology. These are for people who run on the track. So I'm looking at them. There are 3 kind of race on the track. There's the sprint, there's the marathon, and also there's the relay. Okay, all this is running game. Okay, so a sprinter is different from a marathon runner, or they call them sprinter. They call the marathon the marathoner, and then they call the relay the relayer. So the first one is a sprinter. A sprinter is a short distance race. So some people are just in business for short distance purposes. The kind of business is said, I need this money, let me quickly do this trading and get money. These are sprints. There's no future in this business. It's not a long-time plan businesses. A lot of people say, I'm doing side business, side hustles. And I always say jokingly, I said, some of people are side business is like side chicks. Okay? And I said, you can't get anything good out of side chicks. I'm sorry to say, for those who get engaged in that. Okay? When the main chick is at home, you're not, the side chicks is just there. The relationship won't last. And it will not benefit you. So, and I always said, if you are treating your business as a side business because you have an 8 to 5 job, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, probably that business you call side hustle was supposed to be your saving grace. But because you treated it as a side chicks or as a side hustle, you only remember the business when you need money. You're not dedicated, you're not committed. You spend no time in that business. It's only when there is free time or when there is a need, you quickly do it and you go. That kind of business don't work. And that's why a lot of businesses are failing in Nigeria. People, you go and search your poultry in the bush and you employ Nigerians to stay there, and you're working in the city and expect Nigerians with, in quote, with our level of integrity to maintain it. That's it, because it's business. That business for you is a sprint. And so the next one is a marathoner. Are you a marathoner as an entrepreneur? A marathon is a long race. Okay, you participate in long. It's called participation in long distance race. So you are setting up a business for a long time. Okay, this business for you is for a lifetime. So you have a vision, you are projected for that, and you invest a lot. You see, the difference between that and sprint is many people go into street business they don't invest much in it. They just do it skeletally. Okay, you won't find people going to short-term business, renting a major property or buying properties or buying equipment. They are basically at the peripheral level, just trading and all that. Okay, and so all these things really inform the longevity that affects the mortality rate of your business. It's key to it because the mindset ultimately will determine the direction your business goes. And so a marathoner is somebody who runs a long distance race. Okay, and a lot of patience, a lot of endurance is required in this. And so he patiently goes through it. And then the last one, which is the biggest, which is the best for me, is the relayer. The relayer. The relay is somebody who runs in a relay race. And the relay race is also a very long distance race. But the truth is that you are not running the race alone. You got to pass the baton to the next one, which simply means succession. Succession. Businesses that last long are businesses that are designed to have succession. I read in that book, okay, that I'm trying to remember the title again, but I sure will remember before the end of something success, okay? And that book says that in Japan, the way they took succession is so seriously in Japan is that when the father starts up a business, the son will always take over. They design it that way. The son is prepared from the day he's born, is prepared to take over. Now, if the man, incidentally, they treat businesses like we treat kingship. Okay, like kingship is treated. For example, in a royal home, a child, everybody born in a royal home is treated to become a king. He's trained to become a king. From the day he's born, he's trained to become a king. And same thing with business in Japan. Every child that is born into a business empire is trained to become a CEO one day. He's trained to take control of that business from the day he's born. They determine the kind of school he goes to. They determine everything he does. He's tailored towards that. His mind, he's tailored towards that deliberately, not just leaving it to flow anywhere out. Now, there's a culture I read in that book about in Japan, that when a man has a business empire, and unfortunately he has no son, but just daughters. They said the tradition says that one of the daughters one of the husbands to the daughter must agree, and who is willing to take over the business, must drop his own name. You can see how serious it is. He will be initiated into the family. He drops his own surname, last name, and he will take on the new name of the owner, of the founder of that business. So from there, he ceases to be the son of his own parent. Otherwise, he will not be allowed to assume the role of the leadership of that business. That's how serious it is. And that's why in Japan, you see a lot of businesses that have lasted hundreds of years, because these guys take it serious. But in Africa, no. We are just, business to many of us in Africa is just like a stopgap. We're just doing it to make ends meet. We don't see future, we don't see vision, we don't see legacy in it. And that's where the problem is. So you see, people in relay, it's succession driven. And you plan it like that you pass the button from one person to the other, from another person to the other, and deliberately that is well planned. Okay, so having said this, for you to have this, one very important factor that lowers mortality rates in business is ability to continue to capture value. Now, I see one of the guys said that when there is no money, business will die. That's true. And so he was saying that because government is not supporting business, there is no loan. He said Dangote and likes. I guess I agree. Imagine the $100 billions loan that Dangote got to build his refinery. Okay, the gentleman that spoke at our Tribe Summit, Dr. Adeniwale of Just Right said, I build my business with other people's money. OPM. Okay, that's good. I agree. But I have a different perception to that. I have been building my own business with my own money. The truth is that a successful business that captures value continually will always generate enough money to drive it. Honestly, if your business is doing very well and you are not hasty, that's why I'll be talking about two types of growths later in this webinar. two types of growth, because we're talking about growth as well. So if you need to understand which of the growth you're looking at. So if you are looking at exponential growth, which is a gradual growth, compound interest growth, that you're building it gradually, even if you don't get the backing of anybody financially, you can still grow your business to what it is. It is not, I don't completely agree that business dies because of lack of fund. No, business dies because of mismanagement of fund. That's my own belief. Business dies because of mismanagement of fund. Because any business that is capturing value, okay, must definitely bring in money. Because to capture value means that you are getting paid. Because that's, there are three main areas of focus in a business. There's what we call value proposition. There's what we call value delivery. And there's what we call value capturing. Now, value proposition is you design, that's where your structure is. That's where you define how you want to, okay, deliver value. Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to I want to bake bread. I want to start a bakery. Okay, what kind of bread do I want to bake? Who are my customers? What do I want? What experience do I want my customers to have with my bread? That's value proposition. How do I want to market? How do I want to meet my customers' need? That's value proposition. Then value delivery is how you are delivering the value. Okay, I'm going to produce this bread, this size, this sell at this point, and I'm going to market it to this group, and that group. And that's your process. So your process becomes your value delivery. And the quality you are putting in, the value you are putting in, the value you are giving people is the value you are delivering. Then the third part is value capturing. What value are you capturing? You've given out value. Value should return back to you. Because like I will always say, business is simply an exchange of value. You're giving out value to your customer and you're getting value in monetary terms in return. You give out a bread and your customer is giving you money, because business is usually an exchange of value. Remember that trade by barter is simply an exchange of value. You bring your rice, I bring my yam. You bring your beans, I bring my effort, whatever, and we measure it to make sure that we get equal value. And then we say, yes, that's a deal. And everybody goes home smiling. And that's why I tell people that if you are into business and you are the only one capturing value and your client is not capturing value, that's no business. And for me, I don't believe in value of 30-70 or 60-40 or 45-55. No, I believe value must be 50-50. Equal value. Your clients must get equal value, 100% value, and you must get 100% value. So I expect clients to pay for value. Okay, and I also expect clients to enjoy the value of what they are paid for. And so if you're capturing value, that question that was raised, or the issue that was raised about lack of fund, honestly, you won't have a problem of fund. A lot of times people think that because they wanted to fast track or speed up their growth, so they need some injection of fund. And we've seen that destroy businesses a lot. Okay, that's why business not growing organically becomes a big problem. We've seen businesses, somebody starting a shop today, you have just started a shop at the corner of your street, you're making good sales and people are coming over, you are getting good money. I say, okay, let me go and start in the next street. You start in the next street and then let me start and I want to have more than 100 shops in the, you have not built and perfected your structure yet, very well yet. That happened to one of the eateries in town, one of the foremost eateries in Nigeria. I don't want to mention them. This is what happened to them. They were doing very well. They were the choice of the people. It was a nice place to go to. They were a lovely place to go to. Everybody wants to go there. Have fun, have birthdays, have everything. They started on the busy streets of Lagos, where office people have to quickly get there and dash and get the lunch for the afternoon because of the shortness of their break time. They're doing well. Now, sometimes because they wanted to expand, they come up with a franchise business model. Fine, franchise is good, but one of the things they did not do well is this: they had not put their structures in place. So when they were selling franchise to people, allowing you to come and take their name and establish their brand, using their name, using everything, their color logos and everything, and run food business, one thing they did not is they did not unify their taste. I don't know how far this story is true, but please, but there's one thing I know is true. Go and drink Coke. Buy Coke in Lagos. Go to Sokoto, buy Coke, same taste. Go to Zafara, buy Coke, same taste. Go to Ghana, buy Coke, same taste. Though I know there are regional tastes. Because if you go to, that's why I've been to Coke's main headquarters in Atlanta. They have a tasting room where you will see the Coke for all nations. You will see it. You can test their Coke. Now, Coke has done it in such a way that their recipe is the same everywhere. But that's what that company didn't do. They didn't build a recipe that all those getting franchise from them can buy. So when you go to their company, their eatery here, you buy their meat pie. You go to the eatery or the next street, you buy their meat pie. It's not the same taste. And over time, and one thing that keeps customer loyal in restaurants or food business is consistency of taste. And this is what they didn't do well. So going back to that issue of structure and system, they failed in that place. It's the same thing with other businesses. If your model of delivering value, your process of delivering value is not consistent, okay, and you are delivering value to one, you are delivering good value to another one. Today you deliver good value, tomorrow you don't deliver good value, or your process of delivery is faulty, it becomes a problem. And all this affects businesses. Now let's look at two things, because I'm going to start rounding up now. There are two types of business growth. There's what I call Bourgeois rapid business growth. Bourgeois rapid business growth. This is when you want to grow, or like we say in Nigeria, when you want to blow. There's growth and there is blowing. A lot of business guys wants to blow. That's just the truth. They don't want to grow, but they want to blow. So you want to start a business now, and suddenly, overnight, you want to hit the $1 billion level. Overnight. You forget that, look, you have to grow through the process. You have to know how to manage the thousands, the hundreds of thousands, know how to manage the tens, the hundreds of millions before going to manage the billions. Somebody who has not successfully managed 100 clients wants to suddenly have 1,000 clients. And this is a problem. So when you are running too fast and you're not patient to grow progressively, that is one major thing that destroys business. Imagine a child that is born, has learned how to crawl, and the day he started walking, he decides to run. What will happen to his legs? He'll break his legs. Okay? And if care is not taken, that child may not walk again. So that's exactly what is happening. So it's either you're looking at that kind of rapid growth, or you're looking at exponential growth. That's a gradual growth. And this is where compound interest is. All your efforts are coming on together to bring you the compound interest that you need to grow. It's slow at the beginning, but the truth is, trust me, it gets to a point, it picks off. But by the time it's picking up, you would have learned all that is needed to sustain it. This is what I want to say. Look, it's easier to manage failure than manage success. Success is the most difficult thing to manage, because success comes with loads and loads of responsibility. When you are poor, people won't bother you. When you are not doing well, people don't recognize. Poor, when you are not excelling, you are not succeeding. You are like a mango tree that has not fruit yet. People will pass and won't even remember there's a mango tree. Only those who live around that mango tree will know, because it gives them shade. And they are the ones that will appreciate the mango tree, water it, and do some few things. But the day the mangoes start fruiting and the fruits ripes, even before fruits start ripening, nobody will pass the mango tree without noticing it. And suddenly people will become the friends of the mango tree. And then what happened? When you now have those friends, you know what they do to you as a mango tree? They don't love you. They throw stones at you. They throw manna, they hit sticks at you, because what they are interested is in your fruit. And that's why success is a difficult thing. When you have not succeeded, you possibly might have genuine friends. But the moment success comes, you have to watch it. The kind of friends you see around you, or the kind of crowd that will come around you, may not be the right one. But if you do, that's why blowing suddenly. But if you have gone through it, okay, you've gone through the process, and you would have learned this, so you know who is the right friend and who is not the right friend, and who is the right people to be in your circle and who is not the right people to be in your circle. But you start a business today and overnight you just become that. A few years ago, I think it's still happening. A lot of youths in our country decided to do these forex businesses, and a lot of them took money from people, promising them they would turn their money over. What happened in MMM? What happened in all those other scams that they're doing? People wanting to become rich overnight. And they bring in people. They say, bring people. Don't bring 2 people. So will bring 10, bring 20. There are even some, I'm sorry to say, there are even some churches where pastors announce these things. And the wife of pastor will put everybody in the church under them. And when the thing collapsed, the problem became big because the people they took money from were coming on that or coming on them. So it's important to understand, to define the kind of growth you want. If you want to build a lasting business, you want to build a legacy, then go for exponential growth, because it will last you longer. And so finally, this I just want to talk about some factors that you need to have or develop or in building lasting business structures. They are just most of the things that we've talked about. I just want to break them down. Number one, you have to have a dynamic. You have to be dynamic. Your business must be dynamic and not rigid. It means must be fluid. You must be ready to adapt to change. You mustn't be rigid, particularly in your business structure and system. You must be. We had said that they said is a when the word what they've used, the acronyms they've used to describe the word today in all the sector of the world is VUCA. You see, it's volatile, it's ambiguous, it's uncertain. You understand, and it's complex. The word business space is so volatile now. Okay, it's so you can't. It's so ambiguous. It's so very, very complex. And the rate at which things are changing is fast. So you need to change with the flow if you want to continue to look. If you go and look at these companies, they've evolved. They keep changing and keep changing, and that's what kept them in the business. Number two, you have to be adaptable. You have to learn the principle of adaptability. You have to know how to adapt in all changing situations. You have to also be fluid. Okay, a flexible structure allows a revolutionary process. Like I said earlier, so your structure is flexible. There's another thing that I call polyistic structure. You must have a polyistic structure. Polylistic structure. Polylistic structure means that build your system in such a way that you can change if there are crises. Something happened in during the lockdown in 2020. I produced chair, and 95% of my customers are church people. At church, and I know that church has been locked down, no offering, no nothing. So I knew instantly that even when we reopen, there's no possibility of churches ordering product immediately. And I have about 100 staff. How do I pay salary? So that was a problem for me, And so during the lockdown, I sat down prayerfully, and God gave me wisdom, and I came up with a product, which is called Touchless. Even before the lockdown was lifted, I've gotten orders already. I designed that product. It's, when the lockdown, they said every public building must have buckets, water, taps, soap, and all that. And I realized that people would just use the same hand to open the tap, go, another one will come. I said, no, that's not healthy. So I designed what they call Touchless. So you use your pedal to press it. A lot of you must have seen it. And so when we resumed, in fact, we had to hire people. When others were firing, we were hiring because we now needed hands, because we're now shipping these things around the world, around the nation. So we adopted so quickly. And so, and it took 3 months before the churches were able to regain their strength, and they started ordering. But for that space of 3-4 months, we were not without a job. So because we had learned how to be polylistic. And that's why in my company, we produce quite a number of multiple products. We are into so many things. I keep telling people, I said, look, even if anything happens today, maybe by government policies and all the things I'm producing today were terminated, and they said you can't produce again. I said I won't be out of business for more than a week. I know myself. In 2-3 days, I'll come up with another product and I'll start production. I'll start business back, because my mind is wired that way. I am not glued to a product. I've learned to come, and that's why if you follow my company, you see that there's hardly a space of 3 months that will not come out with a new product. Hardly a space of 3 months that you won't see us coming out with a new innovation. That's the way I believe business should run. Now, the fifth one is you must generate multiple income product and process. Now, what if you are polylistic? Then you will generate multiple income. Okay, you might let your business be able to look at some other thing. Look at banks. Some banks started selling recharge card. Some banks started paying, they're taking NEPO bills. You think those NEPO bills you pay in banks, or those visa fee that you pay in banks don't get commissions from it? Banks have multiple products. It's not just about banking, keeping your money and taking interest on your money and giving you, no, that are giving loans. That's not where they are making their money. They are making their money in different ways. Banks are involved in a lot of things, as big as they are. Okay, and so you must be able to generate more. Look at how you can generate and build your business structure to be able to look beyond your major value capturing product. Look at how you can get some other ones to back it up. So that the days of rainy days, because every business has its own rainy days. The days of rainy days, when one product is not doing very well, another product will be able to make up for filling the gap, and it will keep you floating. So that's why many people, when they said, where you see funding is because you have only one streams of income. It's because you have only one streams of income. But when you have multiple streams of income, you will be able to balance it up. And then there's what they call the principle of intelligent restraint. The principle of intelligent restraint. Driving long-time profitability growth requires you to build capacity and capability as if you were on an endurance athlete. When you know this intelligent restraint is to be able to say no matter how juicy an offer is. One of the things that kill business moves is wrong move. Intelligence restraint is also to know when to say, no, I don't want to run that race. If we go this route, we're going to make so much overnight, but we may crash. But a lot of times we just look at the value capturing, you look at the bottom line. You look at the profit. If the profit is high, wow, let's jump into it. No, intelligent restraint will tell you that if we go this route, we may not make it. My company was bidding for a job where the price was almost ₦1 billion about 8-7 years ago. And this organization were demanding, so not the organization though, but people within the organization were demanding bribe from us. And I told my team, I said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. No matter how juicy the offer is. It was too certain if we had done that job. As at that time, we're too sure that we would have made a profit of about 200 million. But because of the clause, the condition, I said, no, don't go. Let's not take it. A lot of people said I was a fool, I was this. But the person that eventually took that job ran into trouble. So what worked there? Intelligent. And that's why for us Christians in business, your intelligent restraint here is the Holy Spirit. It tells you what to do, when to say yes and when to say no. He guides you. After all, the Bible says when the Holy Spirit comes, he will guide you he will take he will reveal to you things that you don't know. He will guide you into all truth. So we need that intuition to be able to say, oh, this is the right way to go and this is not good. It might be, you see, when the devil wants to catch you, he'll give you the highest juicy offer. How do scammers catch people? They offer them something unbelievable. So when the profits is unbelievable, guys, please watch out. Apply the principle of intelligent restraint before you delve into that. Okay. Now, finally, I want to talk about succession plan. And I think we've dealt with that so much. Okay. One thing I just want to say, succession plan must be intentional, must be visionary, and must be what I call generational mindset. You must develop generational mindset for your business, that your business must grow generation to generation. If you have all this put together, I'm sure your business will last. Well, friends, I think at this point I have to put a stop because we're 5 minutes into the time. Well, this is due to the few glitches we have before we could get started. I've always wanted to not exceed our time. So please, thank you. And I will pass over to Mr. Gift because we have some very exciting and important announcement that you can't wait to hear. So, Gift, are you there? Please, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. This was so enlightening, and I personally learned so much from this. And I personally think not a lot of businesses are implementing all of this, especially the last one, which is the succession plan. I believe everyone else who was on this call, you've learned so much from this. Now, guys, we're not going to take this video away from the channel. It's going to be here. So I know you might have missed some points, or you didn't expect the things that were shared to be shared. So you would have brought someone. So you can always share the link to this video with them, right? They can come back here and rewatch and also get the value that have been shared tonight. Guys, so in the email that went out, guys, if you're not on our email list, it's very important that you get on there. If you're not in our community as well, it's very important that you get on there. And we're going to be putting the link shortly. But first, we want to make an announcement of something that is coming up. Now, if you know Mr. Tunde Ebidero, you know that he has written 2 books. The first one, which is Your Business as a Ministry, that was a life-changing book that actually has helped a lot of entrepreneurs and businesses, right? You can always get that book. And we also have the Start Your Business with Zero Capital. That one is a free ebook that we give out to our community members and the people that actually saw the promotion that we did for that. We're going to be sharing the link. But today, the focus is on a new book that is coming up this month. Right, this book is this book is actually a book that is coming at a very strategic time, where people, because of the challenges that, when people hear the challenges going on in African countries, they try to think it's an African thing. No, globally there's a lot of uncertainties, right? People are getting discouraged. People are failing in their dreams, in their aspirations. Even a lot of people who are believers, who know that God has empowered them, they are failing, they are not able to achieve the things that they want to achieve because of the limitations that surround them, because of the realities that they are getting to experience in their daily life. Businesses are closing up. And this is why we're even bringing this topic, so that you know the strategies that you need to engage to keep your business alive and, to allow it to last over time. So, but this book is actually, I'm going to be sharing the screen now so you can see it. This is the book. This book is actually called Grace and Grit, right? So I know you know the meaning of grace, right? For if you're a believer, a Christian, you know grace as unmerited favor, right? If you're not a Christian, you probably define grace as some kind of favor or something, right? So at the end of the day, each and every one of us, we know the meaning of grace, right? And maybe you know the dictionary meaning of grit, right? But this book is coming to shed a new light into these 2 subjects. What is the true meaning of grace? The grace that you say you enjoy, that you know about, what is the true meaning? How do you activate it? How do you multiply it? This book is going to be talking about this. Then this book is going to be talking about grit, which is tenacity, your ability to hold on to your dreams, your ability to hold on to the things that you want to do, that God has commanded you to do. It could be your dream, could be your vision, your ability to hold on to them. So this book is actually called Grace and Grit, the dynamic dual catalyst that you need for unstoppable success. Regardless of the realities that everybody is experiencing all over the world, people are still successful. I was having a conversation with someone. I was telling the person that, well, don't say that there's no money. There's money. You are just the one that doesn't have. There are people that have money. Don't say that, oh, I can't fulfill my dreams because, there's a lot of challenges. There are people that are fulfilling their dreams. Even the scriptures, you check the scriptures. There are people that, if the grace was there, Apostle Paul was saying that even though the grace was there, but he labored more than them. Apostle Paul is a figure that was able to transcend difficulties that surrounded him because of his tenacity, because of the grit that he has. He had the grace of God, he had grit, he had tenacity, he had staying power, and he was able to accomplish the things that even though he was the least of the apostles, like he said, even though he was the last person who got on the list, even though he was not even there with Jesus, but he was able to do much more exploit than the other apostles. What about David? David was shepherd boy. We're going to be talking about all of this in this book. And this book is coming in this August. Guys, this is a book that you can't afford to miss. It's a book that you need to read at this particular point in time. Whether you're a Christian, you're not a Christian, how do you maximize the grace that you have that has been made available to you? How do you assess it? How do you multiply it? How do you increase it? And then how do you increase your grit, your tenacity, your ability to hold on to your dreams, even in the face of adversities, difficulties? How do you hold on? What are the strategies? How do you even increase your grit, your grittiness? What are the examples that you can emulate to be able to see that these things that you think are not possible are actually possible? So this is what you need to do now. Visit this website, our website, www.tundeebidero.com/store. Now, on that page, you're going to see all the books that have been released, but you're going to see this Grace and Grit. And just now, the book is not out, but we are bringing this information to you so that you are among the first people to get this book. This is not an ebook. This is an actual book that we're going to be printing, and you need to make orders for us to be able to. You need to indicate your interest so that the moment printing starts, we're able to send you the details, and then you're among the first people to get this book. It's going to be a limited edition, right? It's not always going to, but we want you to be among the first people to get this book. So visit the website, tundeebidero.com/store. Guys, take a screenshot. Take a screenshot of this. Take a screenshot of this. You might not be able to find it again, but just take a screenshot of this, the website, take a screenshot, and you're going to be learning about the dynamic duo catalyst that you need for unstoppable success, right? So that is, now let me show you something. I want to show you something for those people who might be wondering, okay, what do I do? How do I go about this? So look at this. Look at this. Let me share this screen so you can see that, right? So, yeah, just a moment. Okay, just a moment there. I want to show you how do you make the pre-order, because I know that some people don't understand these things, right? So I want to make that easy for you, right? That's why we're here, to help you understand these things, right? So if you click on that link that we've displayed, it's going to take you to this page, right? It's going to take you to this page, guys. Hope you're taking notes. It's going to take you to this page. So you're going to see this book, Grace and Grit. You see the book here. And then you see this other one. This one, you can get this one for free, right? And then you see your business as a ministry. You can order this whether on Amazon, on Seller, and even physically in the United States, you could. Okay, just sorry about that. So, but what you have to do is just come here. You see the pre-order, this here. You just click this link, pre-order your copy. So what it's going to do is it's going to take you to a place where you just put in your email. You put in your email address, and you are able to get it, make your pre-order. There's no payment for now, right? We just want to get your interest, and then the moment the printing is started, we send you email on how you can proceed to download or get, to make payment and get the book delivered to you. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know, I'm going to put Mr. Tunde up now so that he gives us a final, and then we'll leave this call. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you for your time with us today. We're not taking it for granted. We appreciate you following us, and we promise that we'll always give you the best. And I can bet you whatever you get from us will be worth it. Okay. Please watch out for my new book. It's actually going to come out next week, Saturday, on the 10th of August, which is incidentally my birthday. So it's to me like a birthday gift to you. So watch out for this book called Grace and Grit, and know how you can maximize these two things that every one of us have. Nobody, even if you are not a Christian, there is grace. You have grace. You see, the Bible made it to us to understand He has dealt to everyone a measure of grace. Okay, and I believe even for an unbeliever, there is a level of grace that is still given by God, because God is the one that still is still the big G behind everything that we do. So, but it's just that some of us are more has more better advantage. So this, make sure you lay your hands on this book, and it promises to be good. By this time Saturday, it will be out by the special grace of God. Be ready, and we believe it's going to be a big blessing to you. So thank you so much, and for staying tuned with us. God bless you. Good night, and have a lovely night rest.